Hello students, in the present lecture we are going to discuss advantages or benefits derived from goods and services tax. In relation the benefits or advantages of GST in relation to government, business and consumer. We know that GST is truly game changer for the Indian economy. It has replaced a multi-layered complex indirect structure with a simple, transparent and technology-driven tax regime. While discussing benefits of GST, firstly I would like to certain features of GST introduced by the government. First is it is an indirect tax. It is simple and transparent and mostly technology driven tax regime. Because of GST, India adopted common tax structure that is called as one nation one tax, and which breaking barriers to interstate trade and commerce. Trade means buying and selling of commodities. Also GST includes services. Services rendered by supplier is counted under GST. Commerce includes trade plus aids to trade. Aids to trade includes banking, insurance, transport, storage, etc. GST is useful for one nation, one tax, one market. Make in India is campaign declared by Government of India, and for that success GST is also helpful. GST is a win-win situation for the entire country. Situations win-lose situation, lose-lose situation, win-win situation. But it is kindly considered that GST is win-win situation. It brings benefits or advantages to stakeholders like industry or business, government and consumer. Because of GST, that helps to lower the cost of goods and services and boost the economy and make products and services globally competitive. There are certain things which are very essential to consider while discussing advantages of GST. GST is the important source of revenue to the government. So we are discussing advantages or benefits derived from GST in relation to government, in relation to business and in relation to consumers. Government is the apex body having administrative structure. Most of people are engaged in business activities, and consumer means the end user of the product or service. Firstly, we are discussing advantages or benefits of GST in relation to government. We know that our India has adopted dual concept of GST. It means that here we are going to consider two types of governments. One is central government and another is state government. So I am focusing here advantages of GST to government. First advantage is creation of United Nation market. United National market or nation market means that anything or any product is sellable all over the country as well as outside the country. The main aim of GST is to make India a common market and common tax rates and remove economic barriers and paving the way of integrated economy at national level. This is the first advantages of GST. Another advantage is boost to make in India initiative. GST will boost make in India initiative of the government of India by making goods and services produced in India competitive in national and as well as international market. Manufacturing or making is a process which requires various type of knowledge like manufacturing knowledge, technology knowledge, market knowledge, consumer knowledge, finance knowledge, etc. Make in India is the initiative taken by Government of India for self-reliant. For the purpose of self-reliant, Make in India campaign is very important. Government is encouraging Make in India by way of startup and providing facilities to some extent to entrepreneur. Third advantages buoyancy to the government revenue. GST is expected to bring buoyancy to the government revenue by widening the tax base for improving taxpayer compliance. Because of implementation of GST, it is possible to make broader structure or base of tax. It means that most of people coming under this bracket and end user pay finally GST. Transparency in taxation. One of the most important features of good governance is transparency. Transparency brings in relation to levy of indirect taxes. So there should not be variation, there should be similarity. So GST brings transparency in relation to levy of indirect taxes. Transparency creates reliability and confidence in the mind of citizens. More tax revenue will be generated due to transparency in taxation. We are discussing advantages to government, elimination of complications, existing structure is complex one. It means that before implementation of GST, stack structure of indirect taxes was very complicated, but because of introduction and administration of GST eliminates complications on the part of government. Administrative cost, consolidation of multiple central and state taxes brings down the administrative cost on the part of the government. By implementation of GST, it is possible to design uniform tax structure. Before implementation of GST, there were multiple taxes in India which were levied by central as well as state governments. But presently, these all central and state taxes consolidated under GST. Therefore, the administrative cost become lower on the part of the government. Increase in tax revenue because of wider base of GST. It is possible to increase tax revenue to the government, and there will be also increase in tax GDP ratio. Ratio means relationship between two or more things. Because of implementation of GST, it is possible to increase tax revenue to the government. One nation, one tax. Due to implementation of GST, it becomes possible the term one nation, one tax. It means that no additional taxes, no multiple taxes. Because of GST, it is possible to bring concept of one nation, one tax. Automation. More automation supports online compliance for registration, payment of tax, filing of returns, and credit verification. Destination based tax. GST is destination based tax. It is very important that GST will be levied on at final destination of consumption. It means that final user of the product, that is end user of the product or service, is the liable to pay GST. Actually, this will help in removing economic distortions and about development of a common national market. Corruption-free tax administration. Corruption means frauds. There are three types of frauds. One is manipulation in the books of accounts, cash appropriation, cash misappropriation, and goods misappropriation. In order to bring corruption-free tax administration, GST is very useful. GST will also help to build a transparent and corruption-free tax administration in India. Tax evasion, tax evasion. GST will helpful to reduce tax evasion. GST number. GST is backed by GSTN, which is fully integrated tax platform to deal with all aspects of GST. So these are the advantages to government of GST. Then we are going to discuss advantages or benefits of GST to business or industry. Business has been classified into two categories. One is trading business and another is manufacturing business. It also relates with providing services. Service industries are coming under business. It means that business includes trade, commerce, and relevant services. Advantages to business of GST. First advantages is mitigation of all effects of cascading. By subsuming most of the central and state taxes into a single tax and allowing a set of or price stage taxes for the transactions across the entire value chain, it will mitigate the ill effects of cascading, improve competitiveness and improve liquidity of the business. Because of mitigation of ill effects of cascading, it is possible to business to meet with competitiveness and improve liquidity position of the business. Another advantages is elimination of multiple taxes and double taxation. GST will subsum majority of existing indirect tax levies both at central and state level into one tax, that is GST, which is leviable uniformly on goods and services. Most important thing is that GST reduces burden of indirect taxes, especially number of taxes. Hence, GST reduces burden of number of indirect taxes. Therefore, this will make doing business easier and also tackle the highly disputed issues relating to double taxation of a transaction as both goods and services. Another advantage is spilt up taxation burden. In the GST system, in which all taxes are integrated, then it will make possible the tax burden to be spilt equitably between manufacturing and services. Lower cost. GST will not be a cost to register the retailers. Therefore, the cost of doing business will be lower. Now we are considering another aspect of benefits: consumer and customer. Customer is the king of modern market. All marketing activities are depend upon customer. There is a silent difference between customer and consumer. Customers means a person who purchase goods or services. He may not be consumer, but consumer is the end user of the product or service. Actually, that product will be used consumer. So it is called as end user of the product or service. Consumer is the end user of the product or service. A consumer may not be customer. That is very important thing. So there are two parties in any type of transaction. One is buyer or another is seller. Buyer means consumer or customer. We discussed the difference between customer and consumer. Customer may not be consumer and consumer may not be customer. So this is very important. All the business activities are moving towards customers or consumers. So consumer is the base of our business. Now I would like to discuss advantages or benefits of GST to consumers. First benefit is that reduction in cost of products. In the modern age, reduction in cost of production is the significant issue, especially for manufacturer. Reduction, cost control and cost reduction. These are the two important principles of cost accounting. In cost accounting, mostly focus is given on cost control and cost reduction. Because of cost reduction, it is possible to reduce the cost of production. Ultimately, if the price or cost of production is lower, ultimately that benefited to consumer. In the modern age, reduction in cost of production is the significant issue. But due to eliminating multiple taxes and introduction of single tax, namely GST, cost of products may come down, and that is fruitful to consumers. Instead of multiple taxes, GST brings single tax. So all taxes are considered while fixing product cost, but all taxes, indirect taxes levied by central government as well as states government, consolidated under one tax called as GST. Because of that, cost of products may come down, and that is very fruitful to consumers. Another benefits is that lower price of products. A reduction in the cost of production without compromise in quality. Quality is not an accident. Quality requires constant and sincere efforts. That's why that that's why it becomes easier to bring quality. Quality is not an accident. Quality is the effort of sincere and continuous effort, and to maintain quality is also challenging task. Reduction in cost of production without compromising quality will lower the price of products to the consumers. Quality, price, parameter, life, utility, these are the important components while taken into consideration while fixing product cost. In case of service, that can be measured in terms of quality of service. It includes promptness, timely arrangement, like this. Now we are going to discuss limitations of GST. Firstly, we discussed the advantages of GST in relation to government, business, consumers. Now we are discussing limitations of GST. Additional software expense. GST is technology driven tax regime, and most of business use ERP or accounting software to manage their day-to-day operations. But the implementation of GST required the businesses to switch to GST compliant solutions or standalone GST software to keep up with new tax laws. Increased operational cost. Increased cost of software purchase can assist in GST filing process, leads to higher operational cost for many businesses. In case of small businesses, it is not comfortable to them. One online tax regime. GST is an online tax system. While businesses are gradually shifting to digital solutions, small businesses, especially small businesses, are still not very well versed with such modern technologies and solutions. IT infrastructure. For proper GST process, every business should be IT infrastructure. The e-governance model has been implemented by only few states of our country, and as many businesses need to upgrade their IT infrastructure. Compliance burden. There will be dual control on every business by central government and state government. So compliance cost will go up. GST was implemented in the middle of the financial year. As we know that GST implemented in India from 1st July 2017. Before that, for some months, there was old model. So GST implemented in the middle of the financial year, and it find hard to adjust to the new GST structure. Training of tax officers. Inadequate training is provided to the government officers for practical uses of GST software and systems. This is considered to be one of the disadvantages of GST. No GST charged on petroleum products. The GST Council excludes petrol and petroleum products under its administration. No GST charged on petroleum products, which goes against the ideals of unification of commodities. Hence, petrol and petroleum products have not been included in the scope of GST until now. The tax credit for inputs will not be available to these industries or those related industry. In this way, we are discussing another limitations of GST, that is complexity for businessmen. Timely filing of GST return, GST forms, tax credit. These are the complicated things. Cost effectiveness. GST, while supporting the Digital India movement, lacks in understanding how much the costing and taxation will affect the common man. So, it was nicknamed a disability tax due to such reasons and increased cost of costing for people below poverty line. So, in this way, we discussed the advantages of GST and limitations of GST. In this way, I am concluding my speech here. Thank you.